First few times she thought it was just fatigue. Amy was standing in front of the bathroom mirror washing her face before bed when she noticed it. She blinked, but her reflection was a split second late, just a little, so much so that she could chalk it up to her imagination, but the feeling of dissonance remained. The next day she checked again. She stared at her reflection longer than usual. It blinked when she did. She sighed with relief. But then she blinked again, and her reflection was late again, this time more noticeably. Amy felt an illogical fear growing inside her. She made a sharp movement with her hand. The reflection repeated it exactly. She tilted her head. It did the same. She smiled an uncertain smile. The reflection smiled back, but there was something different in the eyes, something alien. Amy recoiled from the mirror, but deep down she already knew. The reflection is alive, and it noticed her just as she noticed it. Amy couldn't help but notice. Every day she felt the reflection studying her. At first it just lags a split second, but then it freezes while she's still moving. For a moment it just stares at her while she brushes her hair or her teeth, and then it settles back into its rhythm, as if nothing happened. But one day, it blinks first. She notices it right away. It's a tiny moment, but it feels like something inside her is turning. She freezes, her fingers gripping the sink. Her reflection continues to stare. "This can't be real," she whispers to herself. But then it smiles, just a little. The corners of its lips twitch for a moment before she can even think about smiling. She's not smiling, but it is. Amy turns off the bathroom light and runs out of the room. But as she was leaving, she noticed how the reflection stood motionless for a while, as if it was in no hurry to leave with her. Amy tried not to look at the mirror. She covered it with a towel, tried to wash herself, looking at the wall, but she knew. It was waiting for the moment when she would look again. She did not know what it wanted, but she felt that it was something more than just a copy. One night she woke up from the cold. A door creaked somewhere. The silence became different, thick, watching. Amy slowly sat up in bed, her heart pounding wildly in her. She turned her head to the mirror in the corner of the room, and she saw herself, but not her reflection. She was still lying in bed, but in the mirror she had already stood up. Her reflection stood on the other side of the glass, looking straight at her with a smile. But it was not her smile. She had no control over anything. Amy tried to scream, but she could not. Her body did not move. She saw how the reflection raised her hand, and then she felt her own hand rise against her will. The reflection blinked, and she couldn't. The last thing she saw was the reflection taking a step forward, straight out of the mirror, and then everything went dark. The next morning, Amy walked out of the room as usual. She smiled at her reflection in the glass. But if anyone looked closely enough, they might notice something slightly odd, because her reflection was no longer lagging, because it was real now, and the real Amy was now forever on the other side of the glass.